it's time to talk free agents here on Hot Seat Sports Talk. Brian is back. Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I'm so ready to talk about free agents.
With that hair too, man, I definitely
It's been a long quarantine, my guy. Long quarantine.
I can hear you with that. I don't even want to get into your Spartans in basketball right now with their inconsistency.
Oh, oh no, 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 no.
You
I'd rather
beat
talk
two,
about the
you
NFL right now.
beat two top five teams, and then you get lose by 20 to Maryland. Yeesh.
Spartan way.
I can't
Spartan
talk.
way.
I can't talk for Central's team. We're way below 500. But we're not here to talk basketball. We are here to talk NFL free agency that's coming up. Biggest thing is these quarterbacks. We could potentially have over half the league switch quarterbacks this year, or have a new quarterback start for their team next season.
As of right now, we
There's
already
already
have like
three:
three. Yeah, so
Detroit, Los Angeles, Indy, and if you
three.
count
And
Philly in a sense,
yeah, I was about to say the same thing. And then potentially with Jaguars, number one pick. With the
Jags,
quarterbacks, whatever.
Jets, Jags, Jets. But could we see Cousins be moved? Could Deshaun Watson be moved? Wilson be moved? Garoppolo be moved? To have a homecoming with New England? This is just all like, okay, let's break it down a little bit. Deshaun Watson's going to get traded. We just don't know where.
Yes.
His three teams that he said: New York, Jets, Carolina, Miami. Okay. Jets, I don't see him fitting in at all. He will not be successful there. Carolina, maybe with Christian McCaffrey, but he doesn't have a good receiving core to go with that. Maybe Carolina grabs a Marvin Jones type of receiver in free agency. Maybe. But they don't have a good tight end. They don't have a good tight end room. They don't have a good offensive line. Their defense is mediocre. Miami's the best place for him. Even though they just released Kyle Van Noy on defense, which hurt them a lot. But still, they have Xavier Howard, and they have a pretty good defensive core and a pretty good offensive line. The receivers are pretty good. The running backs are okay. So Deshaun Finney going in there, I think he'll improve that team and challenge Buffalo in the East.
That would be a thing. If him going to Miami and him have to go up against Josh Allen at least 2 times a year, I don't know. I think the best situation, in my opinion, you said it, was Carolina. I mean, they're going to have a huge offensive presence with Matt Rule already as their head coach, with Christian McCaffrey as a beast. And I semi-agree with you with their wide receivers. They're mediocre, but they come out of nowhere.
Like if this was vintage Carolina, if they had Steve Smith, I'd be like, oh yes, please. This would be that'd be a fantastic trio. But they don't have a good core. There is a lot of receivers available on the market this year, which we're not used to. We're used to the opposite: quarterbacks being available. Brady was the biggest one last year on the market. We all know how that turned out this past season, and probably next season as well. But Allen Robinson, Godwin, Juju, Will Fuller, AJ Green, Ty, Sammy Watkins when he's healthy for about 2 quarters, and old man Fitzgerald from Arizona. Personally, real quick for Fitzgerald, I think he either signs one more year because they got JJ Watt for 2 years. Either he signs one more year or he just retires. I don't see him playing for another team. He's kind of like a Tim Duncan or a Kobe. He just plays for one team his entire career, which you never see. Or you rarely see that in the NFL, never in the NBA, especially nowadays.
And I got one more question for you, though. When you talked about Larry Fitz retiring, what about another big free agent? Unless this is something I didn't know about, Kenny Golladay.
There's rumors that the Lions are going to tag him.
Okay.
That will be a mistake if they do.
Yeah.
He is not worth the money. He's not. Would I rather than see the Lions sign an Antonio Brown because he's a free agent? Absolutely. To go with Goff. That'd be perfect.
Yes.
Still sounds weird saying that. But having Galladay with Golf doesn't seem like a good combo. It worked with Stafford for a while, but Golf is not a passer that throws really deep like Stafford used to in Detroit. Instead, Stafford's going to have that fun with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp in LA and Tyler Higbee. He's going to have fun. He's going to have fun with those guys.
And still check down running backs too.
But with Detroit, Marvin Jones is a free agent. He's rumored that he wants to get paid and go to a contender. My biggest predict, he goes with Stafford to LA.
Can you imagine that core of offense in Los Angeles?
Or he goes back to where his career started. He goes back to the Bengals.
I see more of a LA Rams situation because they're more of a contender at this point.
Yeah, but if he wants to get paid, he can go back.
That's true. So
it depends Danny Amendola is going to retire, more than likely.
Okay.
Probably. We don't know yet. No release statement from him at this point. But it's just, there goes the top 3 receivers from last year. The best receiver as of right now, even though he's a free agent, is Mohamed Sanu.
Other than that, we got T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, well, that's not really that doesn't really excite me.
Yeah, otherwise,
if they could get another tight end, maybe trade for, I don't know, a Zach Ertz. Maybe, because there isn't a tight end that's worth a damn. That's a good free agent. I mean, Hunter Henry? No, he's going to stay if the Chargers get paid. Jonnu Smith's going to stay with Tennessee. Gerald Everett's going to stay with the Rams. Gronk is going to do what Tom Brady tells him to do.
Yep.
So it means he's going to come back and sign for less money. Jared Cook?
Interesting.
But he's kind of like a Jesse James at this point.
Yeah.
But I think Jared Cook would be a really good duo with Hawkinson, especially for golf.
Yeah, we got pretty much a veteran tight end who can.
Mo Alley wouldn't be bad either. He'd be in the same group.
Oh yeah,
he
was a big tight end. Yes,
but the Lions, they don't have any receivers.
Not anymore.
They don't have good tight ends. You know, it's interesting on what they're going to do in the draft. If they're going to take a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson, or if Justin Fields falls to him, a Justin Fields, which I hear is not a great prospect at this point. Justin Fields, he's getting a lot of negative comments as of this point. But
that's upsetting to hear.
Back to the whole Carolina thing with Deshaun Watson. If the Panthers can sign Juju or Will Fuller, oh boy.
Especially with Deshaun already having that huge connection with Will Fuller.
And then you have Tampa Bay and New Orleans in one division. Atlanta's Atlanta at this point.
Until they move on with New Orleans because of their whole Drew Brees situation. I know they have a great defense, but they can't
he's retired. There's no doubt. And I still think they're going to sign Winston for that team.
And yeah, even because of that, even though I think Wilson could probably be decent for them, I think they're still going to have a down year this upcoming year just because of the Drew Brees retirement. And who knows what happens with Michael Thomas as well, if he can come back.
When he's ever healthy?
Yeah, exactly. Or in trouble. Because a lot of that big year 2 years ago for them was because of Drew Brees to Michael Thomas.
But hey, you have Kamara.
He can't do everything.
6 touchdowns for one game. That's all you need.
Something can happen, man. This game of football, anything can happen. You can't rely on a running back for 16 games in a row. That's just going to wear on him.
If they re-sign Emmanuel Sanders, that'll be a good thing as well. That's another thing. Emmanuel Sanders, too. An older receiver, but if the Lions would, in a sense, sign him, that wouldn't be a bad move at all. In my opinion.
You think they're trying to go – I don't think they're trying to go for, the old veteran. Not old, but
they want the young guys, but these young guys want money.
That's why you got to get them out of the draft.
Because, the only receiver I think the Lions should really, really go after is Allen Robinson from Chicago.
I agree 110%.
I would say Godwin, but I don't think Godwin fits first of all, he fits Tampa perfect. He fits with Brady perfect. So I don't think they're going to try and, break up that band. But if you put Godwin with Stafford, that's one thing. That'd be a lethal combination. But Godwin with Golf, no, that doesn't fit.
We need to see how Golf plays in first year at the Lions, what kind of passer he is. We just want to check it out. Check it down, do the seams, or just throw it down.
But Allen Robinson definitely is somebody I would say, you know what, Detroit, go pay him. Because him and Golf would work pretty well together.
Robinson can play with any quarterback. He can do anything a team wants. He's just that all-type round wide receiver.
Could I see, and then, with Tampa Bay and everything, because Mike Evans already announced that he's going to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of free agents. Devontae David's a free agent. Godwin's a free agent, like we said. AB's a free agent. Gronk's a free agent. They have specialists that are free agents. They have defense. They have linebackers and defensive linemen that are free agents that they need to resign. So I think Chris Godwin's going to go somewhere else and get paid. Maybe Carolina. That would be lethal, depending on if they get Deshaun Watson or not.
Yeah.
And then they'll keep AB, because I think Antonio Brown is kind of like Gronk. He'll do whatever Brady tells him to do.
Yeah, we've seen that multiple times already.
But I think an interesting character that the Buccaneers could sign is a T.Y. Hilton.
Depending on if Godwin leaves?
Yes.
Okay.
Think about that. T.Y. has not had a good year since Luck retired.
Yep.
Because it was Luck, Brissett, Rivers, and now it's Carson Wentz. No. T.Y., get out of there. T.Y., get out of Indy. Go. If the cards fall, he should go to Tampa. That would work. Him and Brady would be lethal just together.
What about a T.Y. to the Rams?
Too many weapons.
Too many?
Too
many.
many.
Without anyone else signing, if they just have Woods and Cup bringing in T.Y.
Well, remember, they also have Reynolds, too.
Okay, so Josh Reynolds, who else?
So if they sign T.Y., they could have a good three-headed monster at receiver and have Reynolds back up.
Okay.
They could have a good solid fourth core. But I could definitely see T.Y. as a Ram. I could also see T.Y. as a Seahawk.
Get that third wide receiver in for Metcalf and Lockett.
Maybe T.Y. is a Viking to help out Cousins if they keep him around. Or, depending on what New England does, T.Y. is a Patriot. There's a lot of systems that T.Y. could fit into.
Yes.
Definitely a lot. Will Fuller is another character that is definitely going to leave Houston and leave Deshaun Watson still crying.
Do you think because of Fuller's suspension that's going to worry some teams, or do you think no one's going to care and he'll just immediately sign somewhere, either to Houston or this team?
Well, I don't think Houston's going to resign him.
Okay.
I really think that I think he's going to go somewhere. Teams are going to look at it and say, like, oh, okay, you were suspended. Maybe we'll hold it against you in OTAs, training camp. Maybe suspend you for a game or something like that, or sign you, or say, okay, you have to take a pay cut if you want to be with us. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, depending on who the team is, if it's Seattle, Green Bay, someone like that, he'll say absolutely. Because that's who I think Will Fuller would be the top contender to, is Green Bay. Because they lost on the J.J. Watt sweepstakes to an Arizona team that had everyone flabbergasted when he signed. Mm-hmm. I had no idea.
I didn't expect.
I still don't know why. Because Kyler Murray is not good. You have Hopkins, who's great. You have Edmonds and Drake, who are okay.
Inconsistent run game.
Christian Kirk, when he's healthy, is okay. And an unproven Andy Isabella. Yes, I love my Andy Isabella still. Even though he had 2 touchdowns in 1 game last year, which I'm still. And potentially a Larry Fitzgerald. So that's a lot. Depending on what Larry Fitzgerald does, impacts the Cardinals' future at receiver. But Arizona's not a good team.
I don't like
Not
how their
yet.
coaching is either with Cliff
Cliff
Kingsbury
is
as
no,
right now.
Cliff's not going to take him over. If they had Bruce still, yeah,
Different
that would be a
story.
good team.
Very different story.
That would be a good team. And could I see Brady be if could Brady be a Cardinal if Bruce Arians is still in Arizona? Maybe.
If everything
One
didn't
thing I
happen,
heard
yeah.
was if Breeze retired, if he didn't play the 2020 season,
Yeah.
Brady was going to be the Saints guy.
I don't know. How that
Personally,
would've
I don't
been.
think that would have worked out.
I don't think it would have either.
Tampa
really
Bay
don't.
was perfect. Almost as like when Drew Bledsoe got hurt and Brady's career began like that as a Patriot.
I don't think anybody else could have walked into a perfect wide receiver room than Tom Brady did.
Well, yeah, and think about they signed AB halfway through the season,
Exactly.
and that made it even
Better.
great. But we'll shoot up to the NFC North back, with Green Bay and Detroit. Minnesota is also under the gun with Cousins.
And then Chicago with their, quarterback here. So.
That is just oh boy, that's a complete mess right now. With Cousins, the only trade that would make sense is him to go to San Francisco because of Kyle Shanahan, his first coach when he came in for Washington. When he was drafted in 2012. That would work out perfect for him. He would have Mozarts at running back. You have Juszczyk at fullback. He'll have a Juszczyk at receiver. And he'll have a couple
a very
other
solid
guys.
defense. Very solid
defense. And again, if that defense stays healthy, the Niners, man, that NFC West division went from nothing to a lot. Very quick.
And who knows what happened if the entire San Francisco 49ers team wasn't injured.
Yeah, it all depends on what they do with Garoppolo. They trade Garoppolo. Yes. Will Garoppolo go to Minnesota? Will they trade Garoppolo to New England is the biggest question. New England, that's a whole other question. Will they keep Cam? Will they sign Andy Dalton? Will they sign Fitzpatrick, Brissett, any of the
Look for a younger quarterback?
Or they draft one eventually and go with Stidham. That would be a mistake in itself.
I don't think so either.
A lot of different all these different teams. Will Miami trade Tua? Because they're not happy with Tua right now. Mm-hmm. Don't know why. They haven't given the kid a chance.
It's only been
because they've been
season.
Because they screwed around with Fitzpatrick too much.
Yeah, they really.
Instead of them trying to make the playoffs and win 10 games, they won 10 games, they still missed the playoffs. Instead of winning with Fitzpatrick, they should have just rode the Tua ship out and just developed him more.
Or, in my opinion, just keep playing Fitzpatrick the rest of the season and just have Tua grow behind it and reevaluate for next season. So they couldn't stick to one side. That was their problem.
100%. That was their main problem. Yeah, it's just a lot of the Redskins. Excuse me, Washington, which will keep the name football team for some reason this next season. Don't know why, but they still can't come up with a name. Or here's an idea: have them called Redskins again. Done. Perfect. Or popular one I heard was Red Hogs.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've read you have Hogs, which is if you remember the Hogs in the 80s and 90s for Washington, helped them win 3 Super Bowls. The Hogs were their offensive line, so I think that would be pretty cool.
There you go.
But still, really? But anyway, Washington still has their problems with quarterback. Sure, they signed Taylor Heineke for 2 years, but now they're coming out saying that they didn't want Alex Smith to play. this past season. And now, are they going to move on from Smith? And if so, who are they going to replace him with? The biggest rumor is Fitzpatrick. Great.
Okay.
Another old guy to replace. But you have these young guys with Gibson and McLaurin. You know, if Washington could sign another good receiver, because they have a monster in Jordan Thomas at tight end.
Yes,
And that guy is huge.
He'll do what you want. Block, receive, anything.
Jump over guys that are 6'4", anything.
Hope you win games.
You know, if they could sign another receiver and improve their offensive line a little bit, because their defense has been solid. We've seen that, saw that throughout the season and in the playoffs against Tampa Bay. They held Brady in check for a while.
Yes.
And Chase Young's going to help that team out a lot.
Yes, sir.
But if they could sign another receiver like we talked about, an Emmanuel Sanders, a T.Y. Hilton, or something like that, that would help Washington out a lot.
With the shaking up NFC East team as well, they would really have a nice future ahead of them if they just get
out
the
of
right
all the
pieces.
teams in that division, Washington has the best future. Philly has no shot.
Yes.
Philly doesn't have a shot. It's going to take a long time to develop.
Yes.
Plus, the receivers are always hurt. Zach Ertz wants out. Their running
defense got dismantled.
Their running backs are horrible.
Yep.
The Giants, Danny Dimes is terrible.
Yeah, not worth it.
Saquon, when he's healthy, that's the only bright spot they have. Golden Tate, we love Golden Tate still from his days in Detroit. God, if they could get him back now, man, I really wish they could, because him and Golf would be fantastic together. You know, that would be like we said earlier, that would be great. But Golden Tate with Daniel Jones does not work. If they get a quarterback like Andy Dalton, for example, not saying that they should go after him. Well, they should. They need anybody at this point. But if they would get Andy Dalton, that Golden Tate's value comes up, because Andy Dalton loves to throw passes to receivers like that.
Yeah.
Because look at his time in Cincinnati. Sure, he loves his stars, AJ Green and stuff like that, but he had Tyler Boyd and he had his other receivers throughout the years. John Ross, he made those guys, pretty good,
yeah,
good receiver.
Average.
So he can make Golden Tate into, a Darius Slayton into those, those really good receivers as well.
Yeah.
Dallas, I don't even want to get into those.
We don't know what's going to happen with Dallas,
because their offensive line's a mess. Their defensive line's a mess. Their linebacking core is a mess.
Yes.
Their secondary is horrific. Dak is still unsigned. They still don't have a quarterback for the future. Zeke is having lots of problems on the field. We saw it late. Fumbling, he's not catching balls. He's not panning out. So the Cowboys are not going to be in the playoffs, I think, for a while, until they figure this out.
Definitely
even if they do tag that, it's not going to save them.
Definitely not for next season, at the least.
So let's go out west, the AFC.
Okay.
Kansas City's good. They're damn good.
Yes, they are.
They're going to be like that for a while. Who knows? Maybe if they'll keep Le'Veon Bell, who knows? I don't know. They should. San Diego or LA.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a little 2012 right there, huh?
Oh, man. Ooh.
At least I didn't say St. Louis when I was talking about the Rams, huh? The Chargers, they have Herbert. Hunter Henry's a free agent. He says he wants to go play with a good quarterback. What?
I can't believe you said that.
Herbert won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He broke the most passing touchdowns for a rookie in a season. And he's not good. Imagine what his ceiling's going to be. So if Hunter Henry wants to walk, let him walk if I'm the Chargers.
Yeah, let him go. They don't deserve him. Mm-hmm.
Keenan Allen's okay. They, again, assign another good receiver or two and work out their defense. Maybe the Chargers. Probably not.
Wild card.
Denver, oh boy. that's another contender into the Sean Watson sweepstakes because Elway is no longer a GM.
And Drew Lock is not the answer.
I thought he was the answer. He should have been the answer, but it turns out the kid cannot play ball.
Wrong sport.
Melvin Gordon's great. He fits well in that system compared to the Chargers. Philip Lindsay, if they keep him around, because he's a free agent. Okay. Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, rising receivers. You could throw in a veteran receiver in there to help teach him up. Great.
Hopefully a healthy season as well.
Tight end, Noah Fant. Great. When he's healthy.
Yes.
Go get another tight end. And Denver will have a good offense. If they get Deshaun Watson, Melvin Gordon's stock, along with their receivers, will go up.
Yes.
Pretty much anybody's running backs and receivers or any team stock when they get Deshaun Watson will go up.
100% agree with you.
Vegas or Oakland, as John Gruden wore a hat during the season that said Oakland on it and changed at the half.
Yeah, wrong city.
Because if we thought us commentators and journalists for sports kept calling them Oakland, well, their head coach wasn't solely on board yet either. But Derek Carr's another, lost quarterback at this point.
Well, you really
I don't know.
He's lost now?
Jets, trade him. Jets, Patriots. It's a Derek Carr's a curveball. I say they don't move on from him this season, but definitely after next season they will.
If after next season they have a losing record, and a lot of it is because of their offense, and no, because their defense has always been shaky for the past few years. I think if they get a better defense, they may have a shot because they can contend with a highly offensive game. We've seen that with the Chiefs a couple times, with the Dolphins, even though I believe they lost that game because of Fitzmagic, but
yeah,
I think their offense is solid.
If defense is great. The receivers need a little bit of work.
They found a number one, I think, and they found his number one, though. I think he fits with them well. So I think he just needs a good supporting cast. Yeah.
Darren Waller's a beast.
Yes, there you go. That's the real number one.
Darren Waller. Their offensive line needs some tweaks.
Yes.
Their defense needs a lot of work.
That's the work that needs to be done.
That's the work they need. Who else? What other division? I mean, we could go in depth for a lot for the NFC West. Seattle, who knows what they're going to do with Russell Wilson at this point. Mm-hmm. Their running backs, Chris Carson's great when he's healthy. He's great. Metcalf, pretty good. Still needs some work. Still young.
Yeah.
Stop comparing him to the Hall of Famer Megatron because he's not.
Not yet.
When defenders start lining up on him, two defenders start lining up on him, two defenders on one, then we could talk. But for now, no. Seattle's defense, from what was the Legion of Boom about 5-6 years ago, is in complete pieces.
The Legion of Doom.
They need a lot of work on their defense. Jamal Adams and Cam Chancellor are not their answers. They can't
do it all.
They're still rebuilding.
Yes.
The Rams have put in so much stock into becoming a Super Bowl contending team already because of the trade for Stafford.
Because they already have the defense.
They have the defense. They have Stafford. They have Cam Akers, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Gerald Everett.
Higbee.
Yeah, Tyler Higbee as well. They have these weapons. They have Aaron Donald on defense, Jalen Ramsey. They have a great defense. And now their offense just got even greater with Stafford coming in. So I think LA's going to win that division next year.
Ooh, hot take.
Arizona, their stock went up fantasy-wise, defensively, with J.J. Watt signing. But as it turns, I still think this Arizona team finishes third in this division.
Wow.
Kyler Murray's not there yet. Their running backs aren't there. The receivers are there. They have great receivers. Take that receiving core from the Cardinals, you plug them into any other team, they're fantastic. You take that receiving core from Arizona, you plug them in on the Lions. Oh my gosh. Man, what work they could do. But with Kyler Murray, I mean, they could probably do work with Jared Goff, but with Kyler Murray, they can't. Those receivers need a quarterback that can stand in the pocket and throw. Murray is will just because he's, like what, 5'6", 7? He'll just run around and scramble all the time. He's like Lamar Jackson.
He's so freaking fast. It's not even fair.
If Lamar Jackson was, if Kyler Murray was anything like Patrick Mahomes, being mobile but not necessarily a running quarterback, he would be great. That Cardinal team would be contending for the division title with LA. The Niners are going to finish dead last. There's no question.
I don't think they're going to stock up anytime
Depending
soon.
on what they do, if they get Cousins, well, this gets interesting. It could get interesting. When you have two former NFC North quarterbacks in one division again, playing for different teams.
Oh, man.
It'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. The NFC South, we discussed. Tampa Bay's just going to just run it again. Of course. Like, there's no stopping them. The AFC North with your Steelers is going to be another question. Now, if you lost the J.J. Watt sweepstakes.
There's so many questions when it comes to picks
for
for Steelers.
The Roethlisberger thing is interesting as well.
Yes.
So what do you think your team should do? Sign, draft, or re-sign Roethlisberger?
What I personally think, the answer is not Big Ben, at least as of right now.
It's not.
He's too injury prone. He's not mobile. He's pretty up there in age. And especially from what we've seen last season, their offense did not click, throwing the short ball. And now they got rid of offensive coordinator. That may help. But even with that, I don't think Big Ben's the answer.
It could, but, James Conner's not panning out like he was promised to.
That's another discussion. The running back, the Steelers basically dead last in the league rushing. James Conner.
Mm-hmm. If you owned him in fantasy, you know the pain.
Yeah, just McFarland was not the answer either. I mean, they just had horrible running.
Juju can be out of there too, and that's their whole team, or their entire offensive core.
Yeah, it could definitely be shaken up. But what I think they go along with a new quarterback, potentially through a draft. I don't think free agency. I think they go through a new running back. No more Connor. No more McFarland.
So they
I think Juju stays. I think Juju stays.
They max him out. Okay.
I don't think Juju leaves. I think people are going to want him
to leave.
But I think. No, wait, what?
Pittsburgh fans are going to want him to stay.
Yes.
Well, the other teams are going to want him to leave.
Yes,
Carolina,
that's what I'm saying.
If he goes to Carolina, like we said earlier, oh boy.
Yes. Okay.
Even with Teddy Bridgewater, that helps Teddy Bridgewater out. Teddy Bridgewater is absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Baltimore's case, I don't know. Baltimore is just a mystery box at this point because Lamar Jackson is not panning out at all. He's not. He's not the answer. He's not.
Great season 2 seasons ago. Bad season last season. Offense is shaky.
Well, Mark Ingram's gone.
Yeah, they're going to go with
Dobbins. Their guy.
Yes.
Hollywood Brown's their main guy.
As of right now still, but he needs to still step it up. But then Dez is a free agent, but I believe he wants to stay.
Yeah, but that whole team is a whole toss-up because it all goes around Lamar. Yeah. Lamar's not their answer. He's a running back. He's a running back. You put him at running back. You put him behind the quarterback. You put him behind. What they should have did, they should have put him behind Joe Flacco at the time and made him run. Then you come at It's like Mohamed Sanu. He has a great arm. We see Mohamed Sanu throw passes and touchdowns in the past, but he's a receiver. Why can't Lamar Jackson do the same thing?
They're not gonna have him. I think the best chance Baltimore has winning games is with Lamar in the quarterback position. Sometimes, he doesn't want to run. We've heard him say this multiple times. He runs when he absolutely needs to and there's no other options, which he's very good at times. But I think we can see his arm. Okay, I think his receivers were not really helping him. And again, yes, Lamar also didn't make a lot of wise decisions throughout the season.
No,
But no matter what, I think Baltimore will still win games with Lamar at quarterback. I just think they have a lot of other answers or questions that they need answered, especially at wide receiver. And now at running back, I think that's pretty much solved because of the now J.K. Dobbins. We assume is number one.
So that was Cleveland Browns 1.0 technically in a sense. So Cleveland Browns 2.0, the actual Cleveland Browns, Baker's not their answer either. Baker, in my opinion, as many as probably is like the Stephen A. Smiths and Skip Baylesses of the sports world. Baker Mayfield is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL today. 100%.
All quarterbacks?
Put him up there with Lamar. He's pretty close. And Dak. Pretty close.
Even with their playoff
100%.
Stretch.
Cleveland as a franchise is probably the most overrated next to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a given overrated franchise every single year, and they will be till the end of time. With Cleveland, okay, big deal. You had a first year coach come in, win Coach of the Year. Great. He got you to the playoffs. Great. You had a shot to beat the world champion Chiefs. But without Patrick Mahomes against a 36-year-old Chad Henne, who hasn't really played in 5 years. Terrible. Not saying that game was terrible. Their entire season, they had a great season, but it was because they played an AFC North division for that year that was just on the down. If Pittsburgh and Baltimore had seasons like they're accustomed to, Cleveland wouldn't have the season they would have.
Cleveland would have most likely lost both division games against Baltimore, and because Cleveland would have won against those two, and I believe they went 2-0 against Cincy.
Odell,
that's a huge question mark.
Jarvis Landry, another question mark. Their tight ends are not good. Their running backs, Nick Chubb is great. Kareem Hunt, he's not a good running back, but he is a good receiving back.
I may have to question mark that a little bit. I think
he's a great receiving back.
He can definitely
like Tennessee in a sense, where Nick Chubb comes in for a couple plays, and then Cleveland's going to throw the ball when Hunt comes in, kind of like with Tennessee. When they take Derrick Henry out, they're going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to throw the ball.
I think that was their game plan, though, because they do want to use Kareem more for receiving. But we've seen Kareem Hunt rush the ball a lot. And we've seen throughout this past season, like when Nick Chubb was kind of like off for a little bit when it was Kareem Hunt show.
Yeah.
We've seen Kareem Hunt like run the ball really effective. But I think
that's okay.
But he's definitely more. They definitely want him more for receiving because Nick Chubb is obviously the better rusher.
Their defense has definitely improved over the years.
Yes, they have.
Do they still need some more work? Yes.
Of course.
Their secondary? Yes.
Yes.
Linebacking court? A little bit. Defensive line, they're pretty solid at.
Defensive line and linebacking are pretty average or above average. They just need work.
The biggest concern for Cleveland is their quarterback. Now, everybody in Cleveland, when it came to LeBron, everyone, just praised LeBron when he was in Cleveland. And we discussed this in way back when.
Years
ago in our shows. But now it's Baker Mayfield for the Browns because the Cavaliers don't have anybody to preach for. Anyways, Baker Mayfield is the hot ticket in Cleveland right now. And of course, people in Cleveland are going to say, yes, Baker's our answer. But you look at Baker, he's not that impressive. Some games he'll have a game where he'll throw 4 touchdowns for over 250 yards or almost 300 yards and not turn the ball over, and everyone thinks he's a hero. And then the next week he'll throw 3 interceptions, 1 touchdown, and less than 200 yards
against a bad team.
Against a horrible team that they should beat with the talent that they have.
Yep.
You could say the same thing about Detroit with Stafford. You can say it about any team. But with Baker, it's just all the hype. It's kind of like Johnny Manziel, like I said years ago when Baker got drafted. He'll be like Johnny Manziel.
That was the question.
No, I don't think Baker's going to go down to the fan-controlled football league. Okay. Do I see Baker as a good backup? Yes. For a good team. Do I see him starting as a starter for a bad team like, I don't know, Jacksonville? Yeah, he could be good down there. But for Cleveland, you put a different quarterback in for Cleveland, and Cleveland just goes off to different levels than already from what they've accomplished last season. Like I'm talking like overriding Kansas City and getting number 1 spot in the AFC.
Whoa.
Or number 2. Even. Because if you put a good quarterback in there, if you put a Matt Stafford in there, oh boy, that team, it's like the Rams. You put Stafford on Cleveland, that team becomes either number 1 or number 2 in the conference. With Baker, you will stay at 5 or 4 or 6, 4, 5, or 6. When you move on from Baker, then you will continue to go up.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. I think they're not going to move on from Baker because as of right now, he answers all the questions they need. But once he starts to kind of go back on the downward slope,
like Johnny,
it's saying like 2 to 3 years, if that continues to happen, then he definitely will not be interested with the Cleveland organization.
Here's my guarantee, my Joe Namath guarantee.
All right.
They are going to give Baker an extension like they gave Jared Goff in LA. Remember, they gave Jared Goff that huge extension after he came off that huge year and stuff like that. And ever since then, that's the exact same thing's going to happen to Baker. He's at his peak right now. He's gotten to the playoffs. He's gotten over 10 wins, all this great stuff. They give him this big contract, and bam, he's back with all the other has-been Cleveland quarterbacks of the past. So, as we wrap up here, got about 5 more teams real quick to go cover. So shout out to our friend Zach, Cincinnati Bengals here as we get into them. Joe Burrow looks great when he's healthy.
Yes.
Everything else is a complete disaster.
Yes.
Joe Mixon, great when he's healthy. And even when he's healthy, he's not always that fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Green, move on. It's done. Time to move on. He'll sprain his pinky toe, walking into the stadium, and he'll be out for the year. That's how it's been the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd, John Ross,
Big name. T. Higgins. Very good future for him.
Him and Burrow, great.
Him and Burrow, very great. He, at times, was their number 1 receiver.
That he has. Everything else, their defense is not even worth mentioning.
Defense is a joke right now.
It's not even worth mentioning, so that's why we're going to the AFC South. Indy. Rivers is gone. Wentz is in. And I don't even want to get into the whole Michael Pittman not giving up his number 11 for Wentz business.
Oh, that was funny.
I really don't know. Maybe Carson can actually get this done. It depends on if they re-sign T.Y. Hilton, if they re-sign Wiley Cox, because they have a great running back duo.
Yes.
Taylor and Hines.
And a good defense.
They do. It's just whether if they can help their receiving and tight end cores.
Now, if they start to have if they miss the playoffs next season, Wentz is not the answer, obviously.
Kind of like a Rivers, one and done.
Yep.
Next.
Yep.
So now so obviously the Titans, they're going to win the South next year.
If they don't, that's going to be surprising.
No question. You have the monster in Derrick Henry.
That's
2,000 yard, another member of that club. Tannehill, who played pretty well, in my opinion, pretty well. If they just didn't have that Mike Vrabel coach, because that guy's an idiot, because he doesn't know how to use Derrick Henry. Because I know if I was a coach, I would be running Derrick Henry into the ground and, further until Derrick Henry's buried. Because there's no reason why on 3rd and 2, because they demonstrated this throughout the regular season and the playoffs, they take them out on 3rd and 2 and they throw it, or they hand it to that rookie McNichols, and then they have to punt. Well, I wonder how you could fix that problem. Oh yeah, by having a 6'4" running back that weighs over 230 pounds, and
stiff arm the lights out of anybody.
I can stiff arm and just truck the living life out of anybody. I wonder if you have him and you could pick up those 2 yards, or 4th and goal from the 3. I don't know. Instead of throwing or kicking a field goal, you put in Derrick Henry.
Yep.
But besides the Mike Vrabel being an idiot in that perspective, the receiving core is pretty solid. Corey Davis is actually coming on after people thought he was a bust. A.J. Brown's looking great as well. They can sign maybe another guy that would help them. Janu Smith's looking great. Their defense looks great. They're division champs next year. Now, probably the two worst teams in the AFC or in the entire league.
Yep.
We'll start with Jacksonville.
All right.
Trevor Lawrence may not be the answer for him going forward.
Really?
I've been reading a lot that say like Trevor Lawrence overrated, all this stuff. He's going to turn out to be a bust. Who knows? Hopefully he's not. The kid's good. He can play.
Oh, yeah.
James Robinson's great.
Very great breakout. No one expected. Very good.
The receivers are terrible.
Yeah.
P.D. Westbrook's solid, but their tight ends are terrible. Their offensive line's bad. Their defense needs a major overhaul after what happened 5 years ago. To think that they got to an AFC championship 5 years ago and to where they are now, they're on this terrible, just, bottom of the hill, and then all of a sudden roller coaster straight up and then straight back down.
Yeah.
Kind of like that ride at Cedar Point. You start at the bottom, you just go straight up to the top, and then you come straight back down.
Do you think any of the offense changes, though, with the Trevor Lawrence? Like, do you say the wide receivers aren't good? Do you think? Okay.
I think it will with Urban Meyer. He's going to bring in that college offensive mindset. He's going to do that. There's no question. He's going to run the same type of things he ran at Ohio State, maybe have it at a more advanced level. But still, Jacksonville's not going to finish dead last in this division next year. They'll finish 3rd. And the team behind them will be the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
If you haven't been following the Houston Texans this entire offseason, then you have to wake up from whatever rock you're living under.
Or even last season as well.
Let's see. DeAndre Hopkins, Cardinal. J.J. Watt, Cardinal. Sean Watson wants out. Will Fuller, free agent. David Johnson restructured his deal. Big whoop. Their offensive line, terrible. Defense, terrible. Coordinator, terrible. Front office, terrible. GM, we don't even know. Head coach, we don't even know. And plus, Houston hired one of the oldest coaches in the league to be their new head coach. That's terrible in itself.
Not the future.
Not the future at all. Someone's going to go get paid down there. Someone's going to go make money as a quarterback down there next year. Maybe Andy Dalton. Who knows? Cam Newton, maybe. He'll go down there and make money. Not win, but he'll go make money. But Houston definitely will finish the bottom 5 next year.
All right, yeah.
And definitely last in the AFC South. real quick, running through the AFC East. Buffalo's going to win the AFC East next to questions.
Yep.
They're too good for that division. They should have been too good for Kansas City. But Kansas City's still there, and Kansas City's here. Buffalo's right about here.
Yep.
So Buffalo can get here over Kansas City, get over that hump. Kansas City owns the AFC for a little bit.
Yes.
But Buffalo's going to be hanging around. Miami is going to finish second again and not make the playoffs again. They both finish at 10-6. At best, 9-7. Probably 8-8.
They don't have an identity, man.
Or 7-9. Patriots, depending on what they do, who knows?
Bottom 3 or 4, maybe.
Then the Jets, dead last.
Yeah.
As always, Jets are dead last in the league. So, as we sit here doing this segment, my Super Bowl prediction in LA next year, in Inglewood, California, in SoFi Stadium, will be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams.
Oh, man, I'd be so happy but so mad at the same time.
Stafford will be the second quarterback to play in his home stadium in a row for a Super Bowl.
That's Tom Brady.
But that's my dream pick. My actual pick is a rematch of this year's Super Bowl. Brady and the Bucks, Mahomes and the Chiefs. And guess who walks away with his 8th ring?
Well, there's only one answer. Yeah.
There's only one answer to that question. And who's going to retire after that season?
Tom Brady.
Brady will win his 8th. He will win 2 in a row. No. Yeah, he'll win 2 in a row and 3 out of 4.
Gotta write this down so I remember what you said exactly over here.
3 out of 4, 2 in a row. 2 in a row with Tampa. They'll give him 3 Super Bowls, tying him with Denver and stuff, and passing him with other franchises. We only have 1 or 2. But then he just goes on. He already achieved GOATs. He already achieved the greatest of all time status. I had to give that up, saying Peyton was the best. Even though we can do a whole nother segment on how Tom Brady can actually be not even a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Oh boy.
Because of all his Super Bowl stats and all that stuff. And what this time with the Patriots and the Bucs. And why Peyton is better than Brady. If Brady had that scenario and Peyton had the path that he had. But for the fact that for Brady to win a Super Bowl or to go to 2, right? 2, 3, since Peyton retired.
Yep.
Is unreal.
Yeah.
When Peyton went out on top in 2015. But Super Bowl 56 will be Tampa Bay and Kansas City again, and Tampa Bay will take it again.
What a take, man. What a take.
They will take it. What about you? Sitting right here in this segment, who do you want? Who is your dream or actual Super Bowl matchup?
Well,
to close this out because we are running low on time.
With my dream, obviously I gotta go with my 2 favorite NFL franchises, the Detroit Lions versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that'll definitely be a less than 1% chance of happening. Realistically, with all the trades, with all the free agency moves,
you'd have a better shot at the Steelers than the Lions.
Yes. But what I actually think will be having 2 different teams entirely this year. I think it'll be the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, so you like
Green Bay Packers
over the hump.
Yes.
Green Bay.
That would I can see it.
But it's not, like you say, Green Bay's going to win the division.
Yes.
I'm going to say Detroit comes in second this year.
Oh my gosh, that'd be such a great season.
9-7. Don't get your hopes up. 9-7.
That's a great season.
We'll take it.
Yes.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
9-7.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Bears.
6-10.
Thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you.
There we
6
go.
Bears. Done. Green Bay,
12-4.
12
I
plus
don't know.
wins. 12 plus wins. We'll just put it at
There,
that.
yeah.
12 plus wins.
Yeah.
Interesting take. Buffalo and Green Bay. And who comes out on top? Don't even say it.
Buffalo.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, get the Mafia their first win.
I think they have all their pieces, man. I think they do.
Interesting matchup. A young Josh Allen against an Aaron Rodgers. MVP
Great
Aaron
matchup.
Rodgers, I should say,
Yes.
who did not deserve it, even though Allen should have won it this year. But interesting take.
The only way I see that matchup happening is with somehow free agent trade deal that gets Will Fuller to the Packers.
And do you have the same AFC matchup? Do you have Buffalo getting over the hump of KC?
Yes.
And for the NFC, do you have Green Bay getting over Tampa or Stafford's Rams?
Through one route and another, yes, he gets through at least one of those, depending on, seedings, whatever the logistics. But
Yeah.
yes, he will get over one of the big humps.
Because for me, it's Kansas City getting over Buffalo again.
Yeah.
And Brady getting over Stafford.
Can't wait for next season.
We got a long time.
Yeah, very long time.
But that will do it just for this free agency and NFL prediction show in March. In early March, I should say. We did this now, so that way when March comes, we can give you March Madness stuff. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Weird tournament coming up.
Very wacky.
Weird tournament in one location every game instead of all around the country, then all coming together. Your Spartans are on the edge.
First 4
And
out.
ice. I think that ice is going to break. I said when we did the reunion show way back, that state was not going to make it. I said, I took that take, and I am still pretty happy by that take.
Yeah, you said that.
I know it kills you. But I think state's ice breaks because if they're on this thin ice, their ice is going to break. They're not going to hold up.
Yeah, especially with the whole Big Ten itself. Big Ten
Got
is
Michigan twice coming up.
yeah,
Michigan's playing out of their mind.
number 2 team in the nation.
Illinois is playing out of their mind.
Ohio State's still pretty good.
Ohio
Maryland.
State, Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa. I'm gonna get me started with Iowa.
I mean, that's even that kind of just to think that Michigan State and Duke and Kentucky might not make this tournament. Is this March Madness? I still think we're still reeling off of 2020 because things don't seem right when I say that.
No, especially when you got Illinois in the mix.
Stafford on the Rams, golf on the Lions, State, Kentucky, and Duke not making tournaments.
We're in an alternate universe, my friend.
Oh, heck, absolutely, 100%. But that will be coming up later, as we always do. We always have our March Madness show, and that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop us this time. But that's all we got for this NFL free agency and prediction segment here. And we will be back whenever.
Yeah.
Brian, thanks for coming back for this segment. Really appreciate it.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for having me back.
And hope you enjoy this installment of the Hot Seat Sports Talk. And as always, keep it fresh.